Good afternoon, partners, and welcome to our special webinar today, the ECC Migration Strategies to S/4HANA, the 2027 deadline and beyond. So sa mundong ito ng business, so change is the only constant. So we know that many of you are currently navigating a complex business situation. So like balancing the need for operational stability while facing the fast approaching 2027 end of life for SAP ECC. So our goal for today is to show you that this isn't just about beating a deadline. It's like moving to S/4HANA is a strategic move that will benefit your organization by first unlocking adaptive intelligence. Second, driving faster decisions. And third is future proofing your infrastructure. So before we officially begin, let's have a quick rundown of our house rules. Please keep your microphones on mute to avoid background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, i-type lang po ito sa ating chat box and we will have a dedicated question and answer session later on. And don't forget to follow our social media accounts for more tech ARC1 updates. So let's get started and to officially open our program and give us a brief overview of the ARC1 and the SAP partnership. Please welcome the man leading the vision for digital transformation in the Philippines, our CEO, Engineer Erwin Padrique. Hi, sir.
Hi, Phila. Salamat for that generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. So, thank you for joining us for our first episode of webinar series. It's a series of webinars. We've entitled it the 2027 Deadline and Beyond, ECC Migration Strategies to SAP Cloud ERP. Now, whether you're a finance leader, an IT leader, an accounting leader, or a business owner, one reality connects us all. Yung ECC clock is already running. 2027 is often described as a future milestone. But in reality, that decision window has been already open. And this series we've created to help you navigate that window with clarity and confidence. Over the next several episodes, we won't treat migration as purely technical exercise. We'll look at it as what it truly is. It's a business transformation journey. It touches your finance, your operations, your people, and definitely your long-term competitiveness. You'll hear our consultants discuss the real meaning of 2027 deadline, yung cost and risk of doing nothing after 2027, the 2030 hard stop, and why SAP S/4HANA was built in the first place. We'll also explore what changes when finance becomes real-time, when the universal journal becomes your single source of truth, and how user experience, AI, and Joel ni SAP are reshaping how work actually gets done. But insight alone isn't enough. So that's where ARC1 comes in. In ARC1, we work with organizations like yourselves, not just to move systems, but to move outcomes. Our role in this journey is to help you translate SAP's platform into something practical, phase, and aligned to your business priorities. So whether that means stabilizing first your system or optimizing your finance, modernizing user experience, or building a roadmap that makes sense for your scale and industry. We help clients like yourselves answer the hard questions early. First, when is the right time to move? Which migration path fits your risk, appetite, and budget? And how do we avoid disruption while you're still moving forward? And most importantly, how do we turn migration into measurable business value rather than just a deadline-driven project? This webinar series or series of webinars reflects how ARC1 works in real life, structured, honest, and grounded in experience. Think of it as a guided conversation, one that replaces noise with insight, urgency with preparedness, uncertainty with a clear path forward. So, whether you are still exploring your ECC roadmap or already planning your move to SAP Cloud ERP, you are in the right place. So, let's begin our episode 1, 2027, the real deadline. Let's set the foundation for decisions that will define the next decade of your enterprise. So maraming salamat and let's get started. Over to you, Pila.
Thank you, Sir Erwin. So indeed, we welcome you to our pilot episode. So now to talk about the main event, how to move smarter and faster from ECC to S4HANA. Let me introduce our expert speaker for today, ARC1's SAP S4HANA specialist, Mr. Swagger Selvaraj. Hi, Swagger.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for very much welcoming word from Fila. And I know everyone was very much excited for this meeting, and I'm very much excited more than you all. And we will quickly jump into our slides. We have a series of episodes to inform you about everything like start to end. And into our first episode, we are just starting with the 2027, the real deadline. Actually, today we are talking about a date that every business using SAP needs to mark on their calendar. Like 2027 is a real deadline. We are calling this the real deadline. Means why? Because while it might feel like we have plenty of time, the clock is actually ticking much faster than you are thinking. This is not just a date on a calendar, it's a finish line for a major shift in how you manage our business data. Over the next few minutes, we are going to look at why this year matter so much for your journey into SAP S4 HANA. And into our next slide, this is like a ECC mainstream support ends in 2027, and we attach the official document from SAP itself. And so what actually happens in 2027? Simply, SAP ECC mainstream support will officially end. If your business is still running on the older ECC system, after this date, you will be entering a no support zone. This means no regular update, no more new features, and most importantly, no more standard security patches from SAP. To keep your operation running very smoothly and securely, the move to S4HANA Cloud ERP is not just an upgrade, it's a necessity for ECC customers. If you want, we want to help you to make this transaction long before the lights go out on ECC support. This decision should be done very much quickly by the ECC users. And into our next slide, our first point here, 2027, the point of no comfort, means as we get closer to the final cutoff in 2027, companies must realize that the time for waiting and saying is officially over. This date is the real deadline, 2027. If you ignore this deadline, you are choosing a future where your business gets stuck with old tech and falls beyond every competitor who has already moved to Esperana for a better business. And into here, our first point, official mainstream support ends. Look at the calendar. December 31st, 2027 is not just a date, it's a final deadline. SAP is officially turning off the supports and mainly the services on ECC mainstream supports. This is not a rumor or a marketing trick. It's the end of an era for the software that has run your business for decades. And our second point here, this is SAP official deadline, not a suggestion. Actually, in reality, many leaders offer another extension. I want to clear this. Let me clear that is a dangerous gamble. Means SAP has already moved the goalpost once. They won't do it again. If you treat this as a maybe, or you are betting your entire business continuity on a miracle that is not going to happen. And our third point here, planning must start now. Means if you wait 2027 to start, you have already failed. Yeah, move to S4HANA takes minimum 12 months to 18 months of hard work. You need to be finishing your migration by 2027, not just starting the conversation. Actually, the runway is much shorter than it looks. And into our next slide, everyone can see here what SAP ECC means by 2027. The end of mainstream support does not just mean like lack of help. It means your system completely stops growing. After 2027, your ECC environment becomes a frozen system that cannot change. It will not be able to handle new tax laws and then government rules or security threats, leaving your business wide open to risk in a global market that never stops moving. That's the how much dangerous if you stay in a ECC still. And into here, our first point here, no regular legal and statutory updates. This is very important. This is the big one. When tax laws changes or new government regulation comes out, SAP won't send you a patch anymore. You will have to manually code those changes into the old system, which is a massive risk for your finance and especially for your legal teams. And our second point here, no functional improvements. This is very deep into our old ECC. Like your ECC system is now frozen in time while the world moves towards AI and real time data. Your system will stay exactly as it is today, means no new future and no better screens and absolutely no more growth for your business operation. And our third point here, only basic limited support. This is the main thing, like that all the ECC users should listen this carefully. SAP won't be fixing bugs or making the system run better anymore. I will give you a basic example. Like you are basically driving a car that the manufacturer or no longer makes a spare parts or no more services. That's a basic example for this. And into our next slide, why 2027 is a business deadline? Why not a 2030? Means the risk of 2027 go way beyond the IT department. They will eat your cash flows. Running a core system that has no support makes you look like a high risk company to our auditors and especially to the investors. It basically blocks your company from competing with the faster modern rivals who are using a S4HANA to work smarter and more cheaper and more efficient way. And into here, our first point, everyone can see here, compliance becomes order. Means auditors usually love supported system. Once you go past 2027, your ECC system becomes a compliance red flag, proving that your data is secure and your processes are up to date becomes a manual, painful, and very expensive struggles. And here our second point, innovation completely stops. I want to make this clear. Innovation is not just a buzzword, it's how you beat your competitors. On ECC, your innovation engine is death. You will be spending all your budget just maintaining a legacy box while your rivals using a S4HANA to move faster and stay ahead in a future with more better futures in S4HANA. And into here, our third point, risk shifts to customer responsibility. This is one of the main point all the ECC users should know about this point, especially. The safety net is gone from SAP. Means if the system crashes because of a conflict with a new hardware or third party software, SAP is not obligated to fix it. The total risk of a full system failure moves from SAP shoulders directly into a ECC customer shoulders after 2027, not 2030. And into our next slide, everyone can see here, waiting until 2027 is already late. Honestly, for me, time is the most expensive thing in a ERP project because thousands of companies will try to move at the same time. The market will face a huge shortage of experts and a massive jump in prices. Uh, Waiting is not a smart strategy. It's a guaranteed way to double your budget for the same result that you could done today. And into here, our first point, migration takes years, not months. I want to make this clear, especially to the ECC people, ECC clients. People underestimate the complexity between cleaning up the 20 years of data and fixing your custom code. You are looking at a 1.5 years of journey minimum. If you start in 2027, you won't be done until 2029, and that gap where is the disaster will happen. And this very dangerous thing, you have to jump as soon as quick because time is very lesser, because 2027 is not that much long period, it's very near. And our second point here, resources become scarce closer to deadline. Easy to understand this. There are thousands of ECC customers and only a small number of real experts. As we get closer to the deadline, every good consultant will be fully booked. You don't want to be just to stuck with the C team and the A team prices because you waited too long and you because of your poor decision making that will guide you in a bad and very wrong way. It's very like a disaster for your company data. And into here, our third point, cost increases as demand rises. It's a basic economics. When everyone panics at the same time, prices will skyrocket. Waiting until 2027 means you will pay a panic tax, potentially 2 or 3 times more for the same migration you could do today for a much better price. And into our next slide, everyone can see here 2027 decides your options. This is very important. Means the timeline you choose today decides the quality of your business tomorrow. Companies that move yearly have the luxury of making a smart choices and improving their work, and companies that move late or likely forced into a emergency moves that carries all of your yesterday problems into a new system. And into here everyone can see here our first point, yearly movers have a flexibility. That's true. If you start now, you have a time to breathe. You can choose to go greenfield, fresh start to the grow, and actually fix your broken business processes instead of just rushing through a technical upgrade that does not add any value to your old ECC system. And into here, our second point, late movers face forced decision. That's true. Honestly, when you are in a rush, you lose your power to choose. You will be forced to do a lift and shift, simply moving all your old mess and bad data into the new system just to meet the deadline. You are just moving the trash to the new S4HANA if you delay it. And here everyone can see here the third point, the final point here. Strategy matters more than a speed. It's very important. Yeah, migration should be a business transformation, not just an IT core. Starting early allows you to build a strategy that actually helps your company make more money rather than just checking a box to stay alive in an old ECC system that makes no value to your business. And into our next slide, everyone can see a first reality check. This is our final slide and very important slide also. Moving to S4HANA is going to happen eventually, but how much you suffer is up to you. 2027 is the final deadline for ECC users. You can either lead the digital change in your industry or become the main example of what happens when a company waits too long and pays the higher prices for the bad decision and the late time. And here our first point everyone can see here. ECC is already in a sunset mode. It's very easy to understand. The sun is setting on ECC. You can't stop it. Every day you stay on ECC without a plan, you are building up a technical debt that you will eventually have to pay back with a massive interest in the form of risk and cost. And our second point here, 2027 is the decision year. Means this is the year you decide are you a technology leader or you falling back. The decision you make this year will decide your company's future stability and safety for the next few decades. And into our final slide and a final point here. Next, what happens after 2027? This is the most important thing. What happens after 2027? We will discuss all these things in our upcoming episode. We will discuss how much premium price you have to pay after the 2027 just because you delayed it and everything, and how to budget your plannings and directions. Everything we will discuss in our next episode. And I want to give a overview of our all episode one by one, so you all guys have, you all clients have some overview picture. This is the episode by episode. Just now that we have finished episode 1 about the deadline, let me walk you through the rest of our journey. Each episode is a piece of puzzle to help your business grow. Here, everyone can see episode 2, the cost base. Means we will talk about money, how much the premium percentage you have to pay if you delay it after the deadline, and if you start late, it will cost more. I will show you how to save your budget by acting yearly in episode 2. And everyone can see here episode 3, 2030, the odd stops. Means 2030 is the final end. We will explain why you cannot wait until the last minute and how to avoid a business emergency. We will look all this into our episode 3 and our episode 4, why SAP S4HANA exists. This is the why. We will show you how this new system is built for the modern world, making your old problems disappear. We will dive more deeply into our while we are discussing into our episode 4 regarding the S4 HANA, and episode 5, everyone can see here, real time finance. Means no more waiting for end of month reports. Learn how to see your financial health instantly every single day. We will we will see that, dive more deeply into that when episode 5 you are speaking. And episode 6 is the very very important in this whole episode, universal journal. This universal journal is the basic and major difference between S4HANA and ECC. This is the magic of this system. It puts all your accounting and data into one single line, so no more messy spreadsheets. And our episode 7 here, user experience. I mean, forget the old complicated screens. We will show you the new look. It's easy to use, just like an app on your phone. And our episode 8, it's an AI and Jolly. It's an Jolly AI. Means this is the most exciting part. Meet Jolly AI, your AI assistant. It does the boring work for you, and it makes your process very easy and focus on your growing your business. And episode 9, the only safe path. In the final episode, we put it all together. We give you the perfect plan to move to the new system without any risk. As you can see, we are going from knowing the deadline to using AI to lead the market. I will see you all in our episode 2 to walk about the protecting your budget. And I hope everyone was very much enjoyed this section, and I'm very much eagerly waiting for our next episode so I can teach you and dive into more about the costing and how it's affect your business like financially too. And I hope everyone was enjoyed this section, and thank you so much. Fila, the floor is up to you, and if you have any questions, and kindly ask to me.
Wow, thank you so much for that very insightful
Oh.
presentation, Swag. So marami talagang kailangan i-consider, no, as we approach the 2027 deadline. So what's the difference between the 2027 deadline and the 2030 na deadline?
It's very easy to understand. Like SAP gives a standard support for ECC until 2027. No extra cost or regular fixes and update. From 2028 to 2030, companies that stay on ECC must pay an additional premium percentage that we will discuss in our episode 2, and how much the percentage they have to going to pay premium percentage just to stay in old data, old system. And it's very limited support and no support from SAP shoulder. They won't, it's not obligated from their hand, and everything depends and comes to an ECC customer shoulders. That's the major difference, the 2027 deadline and 2030 deadline.
Okay, thank you, Swag.
Yeah.
So I think you've also shared
Hmm.
the calendar for mga
Yeah.
upcoming
Hmm.
episodes
Yeah.
for this
Hmm.
2027 deadline for
Yeah.
S from the ECC. So
Exactly.
if you can
Hmm.
share what they can look forward to, especially on the next episode.
Into our next episode, episode 2, we are speaking about the cost base. It means how much the premium percentage they are going to pay just to stay in old system ECC after 2027. Like 2028 to 2030, they have to pay some premium percentage of price to stay in their old ECC system. And we will discuss, and also we will discuss like how they can budget it and how they can move into the data migration, how we can plan it. Everything we will discuss into our upcoming second episode.
Can you share just for a quick run through
Mhm.
regarding on the greenfield and
Mhm.
brownfield
Mhm.
migration?
Yeah, sure. If the ECC clients they want to shift into brownfield, brownfield means just a data migration into a ECC to S4 and a RISE. And if they want to start fresh due to their budget concern, then we have another offer into S4 HANA Grow. If they want to start with a Grow in S4 HANA, then they have to start with a greenfield. We have to implement all the data freshly. Uh, that's how we can offer to them.
So before we draw our winners, let me share why this raffle is extra special. This is powered by our Partner Influence Challenge. And because here at Arc One, we believe in invite smart, win smarter. And yes, everyone is welcome to join the fun. Kaya I hope sa ating mga partners na nag-invite and nag-influence ng kanilang mga colleagues, I hope na later on manalo po kayo sa ating raffle. So, all you have to do, partners, is to register and join the Arc One event, nakagaya po nito, and invite a colleague who is an accounting, finance, IT, managers and heads, and also our C-level executives are welcome to join. And of course, share the registration link with them and make sure they put your name as a referrer. Ganun lang kasimple, mga partners. And here's the exciting part. For our next episodes, the more qualified colleagues you bring, the higher your chances of winning. So because every qualified colleague you bring earns you 5 raffle entries. So kaya kailangan po next episode, bring your IT managers, your accounting managers, and also your bosses.
Okay, it's officially closed today's session. Let us hear from Mr. Jeric Bulayungan for the closing remarks.
Harder, innovation slows to a stop, and more of the risk shifts to directly to the customers. And waiting doesn't really buy you time. It usually leads to a higher cost, fewer options, and decisions made under pressure. So the companies that move early aren't rushing. They're actually being intentional. They're protecting flexibility, they're managing their cost, keeping control over their future. Because in this journey, strategy really does matter more than speed. So today, it's about understanding what's at stake. In the next episodes, we will all talk about what actually happens after 2027, why S4HANA exists, and how leaders can move forward in a way that's deliberate and not reactive. So our ask is very simple. Don't let 2027 decide for you. Let's start exploring your S4HANA options now, and you may talk to our team or join us in our next sessions. And let's work through a roadmap that protects your business while you still have the time and the flexibility to do it right. So thank you all for spending your time today with us, and we look forward for continuing this conversation and supporting with you with clarity and confidence. Thank you, and I'll hand over to Ms. Villa.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you to all our attendees. So remember, whether it's migration or innovation here at ARC1, we've always got you covered digitally and beyond. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Goodbye.